where all the people are showing up. So while Paul's getting this ready, again, good morning, happy Friday. Today is 9/9/22, and we're starting at 9 o'clock in the morning, at least Eastern time, so that there's something fun about that. We are definitely in the energy, by the way, which I don't know about you, but I definitely felt it throughout the night of the full moon in Pisces. But I am Pisces, so it's going to be a big deal for me. And then we also just started into Mercury retrograde, which this is not what we're going to talk about today, but we've got a lot of big energies going on right now. And if you like to know what's planetarily impacting, and it's not all bad, there's great things about Mercury retrograde. There really are. And also different full moons hit us differently, but they're all here opening us up to our next level. So it's a powerful, energetic time right now, which many of you are feeling. I am. I'll just say, I am right now. It's a big moment. Anyway, I am so glad to welcome all of you here once again to Wellspring, which is your source for inspiration, guidance, support, and vision for your growing, expanding, or even starting spiritual business. And because I have this really big passion that for those of us who are light workers, energy workers, life coaches, in whatever way you identify yourself in this field, it's time for us to shine and be able to say that our dreams can become a reality. We don't need to always be in this sense of smallness, lack, limitation, fear, worry, but you have that big vision, that big dream calling you forward. We want to resolve that. And so that you are, number one, fulfilling what you feel like you're here to fulfill. And not only that, you are helping the people that you're here to help. I truly believe, not just because this is a cute idea, that there are people that you in particular are here to help. And we want to help you get out there so that you can help the people who are waiting for you, your energy, your insight, your care, your vision, because they are there. So this week, I'm really excited, not only for all of us, but to experience this, but to see how you feel about this. So the title for today is Everything Is ... So before we even get going, type in the chat, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're in the Facebook group, whether you're here on Zoom, type in what you think it is. Everything is ... What follows everything is? I want to hear what you believe we're going to be talking about today. And see how in tune we all are. Adele said everything is spirit and energy, right? Rebecca said everything is possible, everything is energy. Susan said everything is spiritual. Awesome, we're on the right track. And Paul, if you see anything coming in on the Facebook page or on the YouTube page, you can let us know.
Yes, Aileen says everything is possible.
Everything is possible. Awesome. And Pamela says everything is as if it is. Okay, awesome. Well, here's what we're going to talk about today. Oops, wait, here we go. I'm going to just give everyone a little bit longer to type in if they still are typing. I want to share this concept, this idea today, because it makes a big difference for spiritual entrepreneurs when they begin to reframe this idea and allow some balance with this, what we're talking about today, to come into their thoughts, their beliefs, and their energies. It is what can create a breakthrough. And it's going to create a breakthrough if this is where you're not quite in balance yet. Because I've seen many, many spiritual entrepreneurs, I talk to them all the time, who are holding themselves back because unconsciously there, and usually unconsciously, because of this energy and this awareness more than anything else that we want to reframe today. So thanks for all of your guesses. And so let's just dive in. And Paul, you can type in the chat anything else that might be coming in from the other platforms. So I'm going to begin to illustrate this with a story. And the story, I'm going to give it a client name, but it really is a compilation of stories from lots of different clients that I've worked with. But they all have the same theme. And so I'm going to call her Alice. Why Alice? I don't know. That was just the name that popped in for me. So Alice is a highly trained energy worker. She spent a lot of time, energy, money, years learning lots of different modalities. She's passionate about all of them. And then she also just recently became a life coach. She's certified in that. And she became the life coach after learning all these modalities because she felt that was going to be a better way for her to get out into the world and work with others. She thought it was going to create that pathway for that. Also, she felt like this title and certification of life coach allowed her to house all of these beautiful modalities that she's learned over the years. If this sounds like you or somebody else, you can put a thumbs up or a yes in the chat. I mean, this might be you for sure. But Alice was really passionate about all the possibilities of what she could help people with, the ways that she knew that when she got with these people, she could support them in transforming their life. She also, over the years that I had been working with her, she'd been following some marketing people, taking some little small courses every now and then around the business aspect of it, of creating a business. And also she, again, morphing some people here. She was almost done with her website, not quite. She was excited about her logo, getting some of that background stuff about business. And we had already worked on some of her visibility blocks, whether or not she was willing to be seen. We had been working on some of her money blocks, which were specifically related to the energy of being willing to receive. And she was making a whole lot of progress. She'd be like the A+ student of being willing to show up, do the work, and follow through. But also, as I was working with her, she mentioned that she was offering some of her beginning sessions to her clients, which was, really exciting when you get out the gate that way, right? But at the same time, she was talking about not making any money. And we had been working on money blocks, so I was a little confused by that. So we talked more about money and what was truly going on. And it turns out she was either not charging anything to work with these clients, or she was just charging a tiny fraction of what it was worth. Now, I won't go into all the complexities of this because there's a lot that's going on, especially with my Alice client, but also for a lot of people. But the truth is here, she was pouring her heart, her energies, all of it into her clients' transformation. And she was seeing her clients' breakthroughs. But she was not receiving anything or nothing that was sustainable in exchange. And with this coming to the surface as I worked with her, we really had to go deep to discover what was truly there for her. And here's what we discovered, which is true for a lot of people in the world of spiritual entrepreneurialism, is that deep down, she believed that money wasn't spiritual. Okay, I'm pausing because I want you to feel that in your body, how true that might be for you. Some of you may have worked through this, but it's a very, very common thing for people who work with energy. They work in the spiritual realms to create transformation. they have this deeply held belief that money actually isn't spiritual. So of course, we're going to resist that, right? So we worked more, she felt that bringing the energy of money into her work, so she saw her work as the sacred work. If she brought the energy of money into it, she was going to be shifting her spiritual business in a way that she was really afraid of. This was huge for her. So if you're willing, put a thumbs up in the chat or raise your hand, say yes. If you feel like some of this might be you, like, I don't want to have a business, this beautiful spiritual business that I'm envisioning. I don't want it to be not spiritual because of the energy of money. There are other things that could be, but similar to that they aren't spiritual. So first of all, she was not fully aware of this on a conscious level. So it was with the work that we did together that this came up. And so we want to give her and all of us the space to understand, there are things that are operating for us that we don't even know yet. They have to come to the surface. They have to come into our awareness. But even if they're not in our awareness, they certainly can have an impact on us. But what this thought was doing for her was it was keeping her from stepping into the role that she envisioned for herself. She was not stepping into her confidence and the thriving practice. And so as we opened up and worked with this, it really started changing things for her. But what we had to do was work with this belief about money's not spiritual or anything else. Okay, I'm going to talk to you about this also from the perspective that I've worked with people who felt like, well, if I have to go out there and share marketing or sharing my work, that's not spiritual, because what I'm doing is I'm being salesy and I have to be out there and I'm trying to get people to buy from me, and they don't view that as spiritual. So again, maybe you can see yourself in that. You've got some deeply held beliefs that if I have to put myself out there, you know what, that's not going to be spiritual. I'm going to be somebody who I don't want to be in order to attract the people that I want to bring into my practice. So this is what we're going to work with today. Here it is. Everything is spiritual. Everything. And I know we live in this dimension that's polarized, right? Good, bad, easy, hard. We get that. Within that is also that duality is things are spiritual or things are not spiritual. But the truth is we live in this dimension that's a unified field. It's the field. It's all one. It's all the same energy. It's all source. It's all God. It's all divine. However you see it, feel it, or experience it, everything is spiritual. And when we begin to say, oh, this is spiritual and this is not spiritual, or it's even not spiritual enough, we can see that we're really deep into this duality or polarity, which is part of 3D. But what we also might be experiencing is the deep beliefs in our collective consciousness about what is good and bad. Our beliefs in our collective consciousness come from our shared human experience over millennia. They may or may not be true, but it's what we all commonly believe or expect or understand. Okay. Now, for us in particular, some of these experiences, some of these beliefs, these dualistic beliefs, they may have come directly from our experience. You might be able to say, hey, listen, I know these people or that organization or whatever it might be, and money definitely is not spiritual. What they're doing with it, how they're getting it, it's not spiritual because maybe it's not kind, maybe it's predatory, maybe it's hurting other people. But the reality, the money didn't do that. It's what the people are doing with it that didn't. We want to get clear around that, but that's not the main thing about what we're talking about here. But the other thing is aside from it possibly coming from our own beliefs and experiences, these thoughts could come from our family of origin. If you think about it, what does our family believe to be true about money? And we could go through a lot of beautiful sayings about the beauty of not having money that are in our collective. And we also could have this idea that money isn't an energy that's spiritual, even from our past lives, and that's still active in our field and our awareness now. So, but no matter where they came from, we want to become aware of where we think aspects of our business or our potential business isn't spiritual, because if we view ourselves creating this really gorgeous, beautiful, energy-based spiritual practice, we're going to hesitate. We're going to withdraw. We're not going to want to step into them. And so we want to, it's important to become aware of what you view as spiritual and non-spiritual, and begin to open up to this idea. Just keep opening up that everything is spiritual. Money, marketing, selling, or anything that you resist in your business, stepping out there is spiritual. It can all be seen in this realm. And when you are willing to not create those separations, you're going to allow for more of them to come into your life, and you'll be moving along your pathway to success. So before I go on, I'm just curious how many of you either feel like this is a brand new concept, or maybe you kind of know it, but you haven't really embraced it. You could see, well, I'm willing to see certain things as spiritual, but not that money thing, or I'm willing to see these things as spiritual, but not these other things. And those other things might be part of what needs to be active for you in your business. How does that feel for you? We'd love to hear. And okay, I should only promote God, not self. That is such a pervasive idea, isn't it? And yet here we are in this field of the divine, correct? So if we feel that we have divinity flowing through us, animating us, expressing through us, then as we live our light full out, what we do is allow that expression of the divine more clearly into the world. Thank you for sharing that. And Paul, you can let me know if there's anyone else in the other chats that you're looking at chiming in. But I'm just going to keep going here. So many of you know me very well, and I'm not going to just drop in a concept here without some idea of how you can begin to work with this. This is a big concept. We're not going to tackle all of it in 20 or 30 minutes, but I want to give you something that if you feel like this is you, even a little bit, or if you feel like, well, I think I've worked on this, but I'm not sure, and I want to make sure that this is not holding me back, we're going to just do a little experience here together. So if you're in the right place to do this, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes down and just take that deep opening breath, which brings you into your present moment. And I'd like to also invite you, as you do that, to place one hand on your heart and one hand on your solar plexus, which is in your abdomen near your navel. And just with your eyes closed, with some relaxed, slow breathing, just take a moment here. Become present to you. And if you've had a lot going on already in your day, no matter when you're listening to this, just even say, I'm here with you. Say that to yourself. Use your name. I'm here. We're together right now. And now consider any area of your spiritual business that might be harder for you. And it could be your potential business. You could say, well, I don't have one yet. That's all right. What might feel like you have resistance to? And as you open up to even just one area of your life that you're, especially your spiritual business, that you might resist, or it brings up a little fear, worry, concern around. Notice what you believe to be true or what you tell yourself about this one area. Do you feel maybe you're not ready or you need to practice more? Do you feel like maybe you don't have any idea how to get out in the world to find your people to work with? Are you feeling confused about what to charge people or if to charge them at all, and feel really uncomfortable about that exchange? Do you have any sense of feeling guilty with the idea of charging money because maybe you're taking something from them? Just notice what's there. You may have something of your very own that comes up that I haven't mentioned. And also open that no matter what comes up for you, just say, this is right and aligned for me to be aware of this in this moment in time. And let's go a little bit deeper. Begin to feel yourself as a spiritual entrepreneur or a practitioner, however you feel comfortable. But there's something that works with energy, your awareness, what you've trained for, maybe for many, many, many years. Feel yourself as that spiritual entrepreneur. And as that being, you have a profound vision to create change in the world with energy, with new thought. You hold a vision of an expanded potential for all of the people who you can work with. Feel yourself as a spiritual person. And you wish for others to open up to the energies and consciousness in the same ways you have, in order for them to create a wonderful life that's in alignment with their dreams. And connect with this for yourself. Feel that and those energies that are true for you. And now in any of these areas in your potential or growing business that you feel you might be resisting or might be hard for you or confusing, or maybe they bring up fear, open your awareness now, your intuition, your sensitivity to how spiritual you feel each of these things are. When it comes to money and receiving money for your services or for your expertise, consider and open to this idea. How spiritual do you feel it is to receive money for the support, the guidance, the insight, the wisdom, the energies that you share with your clients or your patients? How spiritual do you feel that is if you're receiving money? And just imagine the exchange of money. Imagine yourself receiving from them and notice what's coming up for you. And be open without judging yourself. Because it's important to know what's there so you can learn to work and transform these energies. Now, as you're receiving this awareness, center yourself on the energy once again that everything is spiritual. Everything is source, God, divine, goddess. You cannot be here without everything being of source. And open yourself as a spiritual being. Open to yourself as a spiritual being. And everything in your world, every aspect of it is spiritual. And as you open to everything being spiritual, imagine money in your open hand. Visualize large sums of it. And as you witness it in your hand, open to seeing it as spiritual, as divine, as part of this unified field. See and feel it's coming from source, because it all is in the same unified field. And give yourself some time with this. You may want to come back to this recording to spend more time with it. And see if in this moment right now, you can begin to hold a new energy. Can you be open to the possibility that money, just as so many other things that you feel and experience, is spiritual? Create an intention to see money as spiritual. And now let's go back to the image of you with your client in the exchange of money. Now that you're opening to everything being spiritual and you're opening to the possibility that money maybe is spiritual as well. Hold the energy of money being spiritual. Perhaps even visualize money in a field of divine light or coming from source. And imagine yourself receiving money from your clients while in this field of experiencing everything is spiritual. And keep breathing. If you feel resistance, just inhale slowly and deeply, and then exhale out. What do you feel? And are you able to keep opening to the potential that this could be true for you? Seeing and feeling that money or any other area of your business that you might have some resistance to is just as spiritual as everything else. And then take a moment to tap into yourself and just open to this question of what could be different for you if you were able to transform this belief into a new paradigm. That you can create a paradigm where everything in your business, in your life, every aspect of it is in this spiritual, unified field that's source energy, the divine. And open up to feeling this in your awareness, perhaps your emotions and your body. What would change for you if you transformed these energies? Now just take a nice breath in and releasing it out. And I'm going to invite you to open your eyes and return back to this space. And great job, everyone. I'm going to invite you, if you wish, to share, what did you experience there? What happened for you? What did you become aware of? What did you notice that maybe surprised you? And what kind of opening might you have noticed? Now, again, I took you through this relative to money because it's a big thing with people I've worked with. It's probably one of the biggest things, honestly. It's a big deal in our world too, right? But you could apply the same kind of journey, if you will, to anything that you might feel like, I don't know how to do it. I feel resistance to this, or it feels like a mystery. Other people know how to do it and I don't. Anything like that's there. See if this energy of, if I step into that and it's not spiritual, it's going to take away from the energetic quality of my business. Notice if that's there for you. So there's a lot to unpack. I know some people might still be writing things in the chat, and thank you if you're contributing there. But I hope this really opens up the possibility for a deep shift for you. And yes, it's just a beginning, but it's a really important beginning. So let me just look at my comments here. I realized that I could only receive money if I was greedy or needy. Whoops. As you said. Yeah, that's so big too, isn't it? And the interesting thing, I'm going to just open this up for you, because many of you, if you're building or desiring or striving for a practice in your energy work, you probably have a job somewhere else that you have received money for, right? You may have gone to work every day for a little bit of time or a long time, where you went to work, you did what you were hired to do, and you received your income as a result of that. And we take it for granted, right? You could go be working at the local shoe shop. You could be going to an office. You could be an accountant, having your own firm, like I'm doing my work and I'm receiving for it. Of course I am. There's something that gets different for us when we're moving into this realm. And this is part of this that we want to deconstruct, because most of us are very fine going out to our job and receiving money for it without a problem at all. In fact, if your employer came to you and said, hey, do you mind, I really want you to come to work now, but I just don't want to pay you anymore. Can you just do that for me? I want you to come to work. I want you to do all the things you do as well as you do, but I just don't want to pay you anymore. Or I'm going to pay you like, I don't know, would 1/10 of what I've been paying you already. Would that work for you? It wouldn't work in those more traditional realms, would it? You would say, I'm not working for 1/10, or who do you think I am that you wouldn't pay me for what I'm here doing? For some reason, we have this little division between these more quote unquote traditional areas and when we step into this realm here. So that this is the wall we want to dissolve, where we can see that, of course, we can be in energetic exchange for what we're doing. So I have another comment here. I realized it's not about money as much as for me. It's about my time. When I get busy, I will not have the time to do what I want to do. That's an incredible awareness, And it's not quite exactly around the lines of the spiritual, not spiritual, is it? But that is such a profound awareness, because as you become aware of that, now you say, okay, so how do I create a practice that is right-sized for me? Where I say I want this number of hours of work, a week, that are just for me. And these are the hours that I'm going to work, because it's very often, I appreciate you bringing that up, because very often spiritual entrepreneurs feel like if I open up to this and if I get busy, if I get popular, if I help people successfully, it's going to be a tidal wave and I'm going to lose myself to it. Well, what if you didn't have to and you could create a really balanced practice? Thanks for sharing all that, everyone. And if you're watching the replay, still put comments in there. We want to support all of you. And I know most of you don't show up live for these. It's okay. I know 9 a.m. Eastern time is early, especially if you're on the Pacific Coast. It's all right. But what was meaningful for you here, and what are you opening up to? Paul's put some links in the chat here that are, if you want to be reminded of these every Friday, you can get text and or email reminders if you like to have reminders. I know I do, but the other thing is that some of you may be watching this in the Conscious Conversations with Your Business Facebook group, but if you're not part of that, Paul's put the link in there. It's the private group we have here to support the growth, expansion, and really being full out in your spiritual practice. It's that private little group that I've created where we can support each other, see each other, and lift each other up. And Paul also put in, Paul's on it this morning, what the upcoming topics are. And next week, we are going to talk. I love, I always do these sort of mysterious titles. Are you doing this for your business? Is the title of next week. So also, if you know other people who are like you, who are spiritual entrepreneurs, striving to have a thriving practice, maybe being able to leave the job and create a practice that's actually sustainable and supportive for you in the right sized way for you. Because I work with people who say, I don't want a full-time practice. I just want a really great part-time practice. That's perfect. So I appreciate you being here. Feel free to share this with other people who are like you. We have another comment here. Oh, this was right in the beginning. Everything is as it is to help us learn to connect to ourselves. Okay, thank you for circling back to that from the very beginning. Appreciate that. Feel free to share these Wellspring messages with others. They are on YouTube. They are being here on Zoom as well as here on Conscious Conversation. So there's lots of ways for people to connect. It's time for light workers to be out there thriving and creating the change that they're dreaming about in the world. Love you all. Bye-bye.